Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janetma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 274 and a little bit of a different format than we're normally in.
Yep, we're trying something new, and today the connection isn't as good, so we'll see how far we get.
Yeah, we were playing around with it the other night, and we thought perhaps that the quality was a little better, but maybe today there's a lot of people trying to do video chatting in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, we don't know where the breakdown is, but somewhere.
Yep. So, yeah, we're trying this via Skype. I know there's a lot of Zooming going on out there, but that might be if it's something that continues to need to happen. Minnesota is currently shelter in place. So we are sheltering in place and only going out if you are essential staff to work and then to the grocery store. So we thought we'd give, again, this a go of chatting and recording. It won't be up to par with our normal level of quality because we can just hit record on a video camera that is pointed right at us and is recording in HD. I know that YouTube does something to it to make it streamable, which probably has a little bit of a conversion, so it's not as high quality as what I upload it as. But hopefully there won't be a ton of interruptions, but that seems to be the cool thing to do, right? With Jimmy Fallon's daughters just constantly interrupting him.
I think my favorite one is Jimmy Kimmel's intro. I don't know if you watch Jimmy Kimmel, but they sing it.
Oh.
So super cute.
Yeah, no, we recently cut the cord. So we have YouTube TV now. And so that's like DVR in the cloud. And so I record Jimmy Kimmel, but I've been watching Jimmy Fallon live. And then my normal life, obviously, just like everybody else's normal life, has been turned upside down. Seems like at work, I am on emergency conference calls from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night, which Amy is aware of because we've been trying to find a time to record during the day while we've got good light, and I keep on going, I don't have any time. So the kids are at home with us, and we've got another month of that at least here in Minnesota because not going back to school until May. Take it one day at a time. That's what I just keep telling myself. One day at a time.
Yeah. I think that's what we have to do at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to probably hear a lot of, like you said, interruptions, background noises, etc. I'm up in my loft area that used to be where my kids had all their toys. And so some of the toys are still there behind me, right there. But it's gone through, so maybe it'll be one of the projects of the quarantine to get them into donation piles. I know that we can't donate anything right now, but I could certainly put it in plastic bags in quarantine until then they are virus free, and then at some point when we're allowed to go out again, donate. That doesn't seem like an essential thing right now, although I do feel like we had a talk from our business leaders at work, and they said we were essential because we are data infrastructure. So
yeah, well, again, I'm essential as well, being that my IT area supports healthcare organization, right? But it's do that from home. So, yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. I don't need to go into the lab, so I'm just directing people from my house. I am, central base and sending people into the lab as needed. But Yeah, I've got my fancy setup right behind my phone right now, and so this is where I sit when I work all day. But yeah, I'm sorry for the reach. I had to adjust my microphone so that I could hear better. I might need to do one of the Bluetoothy type things. Yeah, I see that.
Yep. I just know, again, sometimes when the noise is broadcasting out of my phone, it messes with the microphone. So I decided to throw the Galaxy Bud in my ear. So I think, again, just a moment of solidarity to all those out there. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to work from home. I feel very fortunate that my life has not yet been touched by coronavirus. My brother is at the epicenter of it in New York City, and that's causing me a lot of anxiety, but we're doing, daily video chats, and they're still getting out and about, but avoiding contact, right? So they have their dog that they're out walking, and then they have to go out to the grocery store every once in a while and getting those updates. They have a neighbor across the way that they videoed us that apparently is one of the toilet paper hoarders, and has like their apartment window filled with toilet paper. And then they just take one out, right? So it's just slowly coming down one roll at a time. I'm just like, you people.
Yeah, we've got probably another few weeks worth of toilet paper, so we're pretty good. But yeah, every time I go to the store, I just like, well, maybe I'll look. Nope, still no toilet paper.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to avoid looking. We did, Ellie and I went to Costco yesterday, and they didn't have any, but it was like right on the door, the sign, at the door. And I'm like, no, because we randomly bought like a huge pack from Costco before all of this hit. So we've just really been, writing it out. We did count yesterday. So we have 23 rolls. So, and I don't think we're doing a roll a day. So we've got, a good long bit before we're in trouble, but I keep on saying this tongue in cheek, but it might come to fruition here in April. Like, we're all at home. If you really needed toilet paper, you could probably take a shower, right? Like it'd be like a stand-up bidet type sort of situation, right? Like, take a shower, towel off. We'd all be okay because we're all at home. It wouldn't be like at work being like, just a second, need to take a shower.
Right.
Right. But
I think about that, like bidets and whatnot, like, or you could just like buy some soft cloths and do it like you would cloth diapers, right?
Yep.
There's a process to keep cloth diapers clean and not smelling in your vicinity, etc. And I've witnessed a lot of people doing that, including our daycare center when we had kids at day, and it seemed like I could do that if I had to.
Yeah. No, again, I think all of this is really just us figuring out that we can we can survive, right? There's a lot of things that we can survive. I'm still trying to get out and get fresh air, get my run in, try to boost the immunity. But I do know that it's getting harder not to run into people, because there are a lot of people out walking and jogging and pushing kids in strollers and walking their dogs and whatever. So I'm trying to maintain that 6 feet, but and that's still allowed even when you're supposed to be sheltering in place and staying at home, because fresh air and exercise is good for you. So that's kind of helping me maintain my sanity. That and coffee.
And coffee.
And knitting,
of course.
Yeah. Coffee, and knitting, and running are kind of the normal staples in my keeping my sanity in place. So, and chatting with people, video chats, and so I think, it's been said a lot, but we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together apart. But I'm very thankful for the knitting community. I'm very thankful that I have, food in my refrigerator. I'm very thankful that I've got lots of yarn, that I'm not sitting here going like, oh, I really want to cast this thing on that I can buy digitally, but I don't have like the material goods around. So I was preparing for an apocalypse and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, I have been ordering here and there because people have been talking about, just supporting local businesses and people who've been hit in this. And actually, I contacted Darn It anyway and said, oh, I would really like to support you in this time. And she said, we're doing okay. So I was like, okay, so you don't need my purchase rate at this moment. So I will save it for some time when you might not be okay. They live in, or their business is in kind of a small town, so they might have been rallying around. Maybe the people who are leasing them their building are allowing them to, there's probably things happening in that community that are supporting them and helping them to stay, afloat in this time.
Yeah.
So that's great. And I definitely have plans later today, if I feel adventurous, to go out and do some takeout to our local pubs and eateries and things today. Yeah. I have been eating at home for 7 days now, so I thought, okay, well, maybe today's the day that I go out and support, because if everybody did that, then they really truly would go under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we tried to go to Steam the other day, and they've got different hours. So it was the other day, like Sunday. But we did do Starbucks drive-through, which again, Starbucks is a chain, but they still employ local people, and they still have, are still supporting the economy here. I have a couple of people that I video chat with that were kind of like, if you really need to get out of the house and it's not like just for like an epic 3-hour run to get away from the family, you could like grab your knitting, go to a drive-through coffee shop, grab some coffee, and just go somewhere and park and drink your coffee and knit by yourself. Because I definitely am having a hard time with my 5 in this house of getting away from, it's true. Intense. Yeah.
For sure. If you need like a solitude little meditation moment, your car is probably the best place.
Yep. Or, again, if it were nice enough, which it's starting to be spring, you could walk somewhere, right? As long as you were keeping that, social distance. And I guess parks are open, but you're not supposed to use the equipment. So, you don't want to leave anything behind for other people to get sick off of. So, but yeah, it's definitely a trying time, but I feel like as knitters, we know what to do when we've got time on our hands. We've practiced with virtual knit nights on how to be remote, and it's really fun to see how people are innovating, right? There are some LYSs, I don't know if Darn It Anyway is doing it, but where you can call them up and they'll just leave, it hanging on the door or at the specified time, and you can go pick it up and not have any contact with any person. And get what you need, right? So I feel like that's kind of the human spirit, is that we adapt and we do the best that we can. And I know everybody is doing the best that they can. Whether it's it's a trying time. It's nothing that I've ever lived through, and I think ultimately the thing that makes me like the saddest is our children, right? So you have Justin, and Ellie is also an 8th grader, right? And so she's thinking, am I ever going to go back to that middle school? Am I ever going to see those middle school friends again that maybe aren't going to go to the same high school as me? Am I going to have an 8th grade graduation? It's just hard. Dexter is the same, right? He's in 5th grade, so he's going to be leaving the elementary school. And so I try to stop thinking about myself and kind of think about them for a little bit. And this has got to be, this is going to change their perception of reality and life, right? This is something that there will be a before and after. I read an article about that, right? Where a lot of people have 9/11, there was a before 9/11 and an after 9/11. And there's going to be a lot of that here, right? A before this pandemic and an after. So My hearts go out to everybody that has been impacted by it, whether by the illness or just some of the economic issues with trying to, keep us all at home and safe and flatten the curve. So anyway, I'm trying to remain excited about a new project or, interacting with other human beings, even if the ones that I've got here at my home are driving me insane.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready for some Administrati?
Yeah, sure.
To that end, Amy and I have decided that it would be fun to try to put together a swap. We have done swaps in the past. I feel like I was a lot more involved with them kind of early on in my knitting career, meeting other knitters, and you would learn about them and buy objects for them and knit something for them. And this is going to be a little different of a swap than that. So involvement in the swap is completely voluntary. Obviously, you would sign up and agree to the terms and conditions of doing the swap. You will be randomly connected with somebody that's from your same country. So if you're in the United States, we're going to pair you up with somebody that's in the United States, and we'll do our best with, if Canadians, if somebody from Germany, pick your country, signs up to try to, if other people also sign up to do a swap. We just don't know how quickly the mail is moving or how easy it would be for somebody in the United States, for example, to mail out something to somebody in Germany without having to go out into public. So we plan on having some videos in place where you can, through PayPal, ship out, 3 20-gram mini skeins to your partner. Hopefully there's something that's from your stash or maybe your leftovers. You pick a color family that trips your fancy as you're signing up. And just a fun way to, mail is considered safe. So the FDA has come out and said the amount of time that things are in transit, the virus cannot survive it. And so I'm super excited about, I'm going to commit to send out some mini skeins to people, just because I want to, right? Because I think it'll be fun to send them out and see them knit up, and just have something to do and something to look forward to in the mail. I know I'm getting a lot of bills in the mail these days and not a lot of fun mail from folks. So we also plan to put a video in place to show you how using a book to put your 20-gram mini skeins into effect. I think you can, based off of just the wrap count and the circumference of the book, you could figure out how to get your 20-gram mini skeins there, although a scale does help. So the deadlines for that are, signups are through April 3rd. We will be sending out the assignments on April 4th. And then we would want you to get your swap partners package in the mail within a week. So through the April 11th. And there's going to be a KAL. So everybody that signs up, I am committing to provide a pattern to knit your 3 20-gram mini skeins in. And if you wanted to add some of your own, that would be fun, or a coordinating color. And then we're going to also have VKN meetings. So, a weekly touch point to be able to meet up with your partner and converse. We will also be hosting it within our StockinetteZombies forum threads on Ravelry. So you can touch base with people there, post that things are going into the mail. Fun other kind of water cooler type stuff there if, virtual chats aren't your bag. I just said a lot there, Amy, and you didn't have any time to get a word in edgewise. I'm finding that out a lot as I'm doing these video conference calls. I'm like, okay, Megan, stop, pause, breathe, let the other person have a moment to say something.
Yeah. So yeah, I was also thinking, like, since we've all been trying to organize, I did see a meme that I enjoyed, and it said something like, I work a job and have homeschooling and this to do. Don't show me that you have clean closets, Karen. I'm like, yeah, I have not been doing that much organizing, but I figure I can go through some of my cluttered areas and see if there's something useful and fun for to pass along to my swap buddy as the minis, but not necessarily going out and looking and shopping specifically for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they stay in place.
Yep, exactly. So just a way to engage with the knitting community if you're feeling kind of isolated. I know as an extrovert, this is kind of a nightmare for me. Like a lot of the joy that I get from going to work is interacting with other people. And so, I think even introverts enjoy some human contact every now and then as well. So something fun to do. Please feel free to join in if that sounds fun to you to get some mini skeins in the mail and to knit something up. And we will be posting a form to sign up and trying to post it everywhere so that we can get it's one of those things where it's like a social networking site. The more people that do it, the more fun it's going to be. Oh, next part of the show is FOs, and I think you've got quite a few. You were showing me a huge bag.
Well, it seemed like a lot, but I have a feeling that you're going to have more. But I'll start with gnomes.
No, never not gnoming.
Yep, I got a gnome. I've got a mini gnome, and I've got another mini gnome. So I knit 3 of these guys in a flash KL with Eat, Sleep, Knit.
Fun.
So the blue is a Nerd Girl yarn, and then the red and white are Malabrigo sock. Because that was my inexpensive choice for a solid color. I thought.
Do they have names?
No. Not yet.
Do they have names?
No, they don't have good names. Not yet. So then I also have my swing left sock. I did these a while back. And this is Lola Bean Yarn Co.
Ooh.
Yeah. So lovely soft skein or yarn. And now I can put those in my wear pile.
I love them.
And then some hand spun that I finished. So, yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't done the yardage or anything like that, but it looks like it's going to be like a sport DK, maybe. But super soft. I did my best to make it kind of a squishy, not as tightly spun yarn. And then I started another one immediately after that, but then haven't gotten back to it in a while. Oh, and then the rest of them I actually put on Gina behind me. So I'm going to stand up. See the lovely Gina. So this is a Times Square poncho. It's a very cool rectangle construction with little triangles that meet. It was a real fun pattern. And then this is a yarn baby, Empire from Jill Draper. So
very pretty, very orange. I know somebody that would like that. Yeah.
I know a few people who might like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of dressed her for this, so I'm just going to strip and you'll see more.
It's like a magician.
this one is my Across the Waters. This one here is a Cyborg's Craft Room.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
then I am currently wearing my one that is, this one is Suburban Stitcher.
Ooh, yeah. Lots of ZK KAL bonus points there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Wait, there's more.
Yeah. Last but not least, this is I think it's, oh my gosh, what was this? It was a test knit for Wee Sheep, and I think it was a warm hug, but it's just a kind of a larger cowl. I would say check gauge because I didn't, bad test knitter, and it's a little snug. It's a tight hug for me. But the yarn is Lavender Loon and Leading Men Fiber Arts. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is from our kit, from our camp season of ZK. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good, quick, simple knit, and you can knit it either in DK or 2 held double. So this is 2 single fingerings held double.
Pretty. You got into well, I guess we were doing the traveling cloak kind of ZK.
Yes.
I was gonna say you got into a really poncho / cowl zone there.
No, definitely, and it was due to that KL. I wanted to make sure to maximize my points.
Yeah.
And now I'm on to Sweater Dreams. So
yeah,
I will be knitting sweaters here shortly.
Yeah. Just in case the volume or the quality of my sound went way down, my earbud quit working. So I can hear you. It's just being broadcast to be on my speaker. So hopefully I can fix that as we take another little break here. But
It's been probably a month and a half, 2 months since we've recorded. So a lot of the shoulder drapey stuff. I am wearing my sorrel sweater, which I talked a little bit about the held double in my Megan's Monday Musing. I absolutely love these dip stitches. I'll hold it out so it doesn't look like I'm thrusting my chest at you.
So you could send me a purple and hang it on my door so that I can make one too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did. So I tried out all of the different color combinations. The alpaca silk was a lot more furrier. Like it really overtook that main color. So the main color on this is Posh Narwhal by Lavender Loon. And then from the Wool Warehouse, I used the Drops Mohair Silk, or I think it's Kid Silk, but it's mohair. It is super warm. So I am sitting here like sweating. I feel like it's funny. You've got every once in a while a kid runs past.
Yeah, just up, down. He just needed a snack now.
Yeah. I feel like if I wear this long enough that it will bring on spring, right? Like Mother Nature will be like, ah, ha, ha, you thought you could knit yourself a mohair super furry. I did not sweater, and so I'm going to send warm weather. So I'm daring Mother Nature to make it too warm to wear this sweater. I did not fade as let's see if I can. I did not fade the sweater.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on fading it either. I have 3 skeins, something that's kind of dark, and I was just hoping to lighten it up with a mohair, but I haven't gotten around to shopping for it yet.
Yep. And so, I mean, I can see some differences, like one of the sleeves is a lot pinker than the other, but I didn't like alternate skeins at all. That would have been a real pain. I don't know. I mean, like when you're alternating skeins, you kind of have to do yarn management anyway. And then when the one strand of mohair kind of gets wrapped around and married with that one alternating is difficult. So I just, knit until I needed to swap, and then I swapped that one in, and then I used different ones for the sleeves. And you can see it. That one's pinker, but it's a feature. So this is my sweater, and I had leftovers from that with that mohair because I grabbed I think 1,400 yards of mohair. And I didn't quite use all of that. So this is a matching hat. Woolly Warmhead put out a free, if you sign up for her newsletter, it's diagonal with an E at the end. So again, I did a Megan's Monday musing about that as well. I said diagonal. I put put the little emphasis on that. It's a envelope closure on the top, but kind of in the same vein as the Langfield. I'm not going to wear it because it's got sweat to pieces here. But you can see it's very much the same. You go until you've got it about the right length. It's similar to a corner-to-corner dishcloth. If you've ever knit one of those, that you end up seaming along the back and then the top, and then you kind of fold those edges, the two edges in like you would if you were wrapping a present. And so I did that, and then I used some leftover, this is Lavender Loon, why can't I think of it? It's a BFL tweed that I had left over from another thing that's coming up. And so each section got a different stripe that I was doing. So striping there while holding. And this is where I figured out that if I had tried to alternate skeins here, it would have been a huge pain in the bottom, because it was a huge pain in the bottom to do it here. The mohair, just through the act of knitting, gets wrapped around the other strand. And so when you're going to switch to hold the one strand with the other strand, it gets a little hairy. So, but yeah, there's where it's seamed up, and there it is on the top. But those leftovers were from That's a Rapazoid. I guess Rapazoid. The KAL that we were doing is That's a Rapazoid, KAL. So I did the more drama version, which has the more rapid increases, and then a very large collar. I wanted to make it so big because I plan on wearing it. And again, I'm going to sweat to pieces here, but like this. So I wanted to have a fairly substantial piece here. And went until I couldn't do garter anymore on this large. And this is again with Lavender Loon. And then for this piece, the teal, I held in some 3 Irish girls. Yep. It's this is how I plan to wear it. So with the armhole as a neck hole rather, and then the other armhole as an armhole, kind of like a shawl / poncho. I think we were both in that mode with the KAL for ZK. So, and this is by Shayna Lines. The sorrel is by Dank Fiber and Abby Knits. I think they are wool and pine, I believe, is their shared design name. But you can also wear it like this. Again, I'm just going to sit here and sweat to show you. I'm warm. I don't know if you can tell. A little breathless even. Sweating for my knits. That's another way that you can wear it, kind of as a vest with a large collar. Love seeing all of them out there of the folks that have jumped on and done the KL. You have one as well, right, Amy?
Yep. I did less drama. Mine was during the test knit phase.
Yeah. So I really enjoy, I did some striping here. As you can see, every stripe, this was another one where it was like, okay, unmarry the 2 yarns that have just been together after every single row, which really, it starts to feel like it really slows you down. So I really enjoy the effect, right? Like when I look at it like this, I'm like, ooh, that looks nice. But while I was doing it, I was like, why did I decide to do this? So, and then I knit some, my pod keeps trying to pop out of my ear, some static zings with the, some leftover yarn. I made these very snug because I'm finding that my running socks, I get weird blisters if I run with them and they bunch up a little funny. And so I made these super, super snug, and that ribbing on the top of the static zings makes it very snug. The yarn, I believe, was, what was it? I think it was Eternity Ranch was the pink, and then I married it up with a Knitterly Things. And then last, I'm not going to talk about it a great deal, but it did constitute a lot of knitting. I was designing a shawl for LYS Day, which Tiananene has now announced is moved out until September, which is smart, but I don't really know the state of the design quite yet. So I knit up a bunch of samples. It is something that you could knit in a single color of fingering or a single color of DK. So here, the single color of DK, single color of fingering, or you could knit it with two colors in fingering or two colors in DK. And so the sample that went out to the collaborator was a single color of fingering, which is was highly secretive. So I took posted a black and white photo of it. And then I did a two color with Queen City. So I'll give a brief shot of that. It's a deep V, and it's very much playing with lace and garter stripes. And then there's one side that's longer, so it's kind of a nice hug. The DK single skein is a much smaller one, but knits up super quick. It's a reversible design, so I think it's pretty on both sides. I don't know if you're seeing that or not with this one. And then there's a two color DK one that's really big. And so that design is yet to be named and yet to be able to tell you whether or not when it will be released, whether it will be in April as planned, or if it's out into September, or if it just kind of reverts back to me and we try to do something different. So I don't have the details on that quite yet, but trying to, I'm really still excited about it. So I can hold off until September if need be, but I wanted to show you that was, two unphotographed or unshown here. And then the ones that I got to keep. So the other two are with the collaborator for pictures and fun. So those are the FOs I have to show. I feel like I had some others, but like you said, I think they just got like worn and distributed.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about my whips. And right now, because I've memorized the pattern for it, I am working on my Orange Love, or For the Love of Orange poncho.
Ooh.
So that's a
pretty good chart to have memorized.
Yeah. It's just one chart, but it's fairly simple to remember, I think, because most of the stuff just kind of flows. There's one section where I know that, like, oh, when I'm on the fifth bauble, I need to stop and think.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun. And since I just got done knitting a really big orange one, I decided to go with green. And so this is Deep Stash Plymouth from Darn It Anyway. And I swear I bought it in the first year that we had like a meetup there. Or no, maybe it was a yarn crawl. One of the two. It was a million years ago, it felt like. And so it's Deep Stash. I'm really enjoying that again, since it's become mindless knitting. It's really nice. And then I just finished one sock of the Ready Up.
Woohoo! Those are some nice going on there.
Yeah, it's purple and gold. It's hard to photograph though because it ends up looking blue in my photos, but it's looking pretty purple here today. And then a start of another one there. I did notice that my gauge is a lot looser on these last two socks that I've made. I wonder what's going on there. But
yeah, generally your stress, yeah, it seems like it's a lot tighter, right?
yeah, and with these patterns, I've just been a little looser. I don't know, but
yeah,
they still fit. And then I started a while back, but haven't worked on it recently. A poet.
it's very pretty.
So this is from Lane Magazine, but you can buy the individual pattern. Poet. And I am knitting it out of what I am determining is the favorite color from Three Irish Girls. I don't even remember the color name, but it's their yarn. It's beautiful.
Yeah, does it have some silk in it? It looks really shiny.
No, it's the Luxe Adorn Deluxe.
The Adorn Luxe, yeah.
It's Adorn, that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And last but not least, is my crochet project. So this is going to be Shoop the sheep. Trying to get him right side. So his feet are here. And I'm working my way up the body. So I'm thinking that this part right here is his butt. And I'm working my way around. But I'm finding those little flowers really fun. My hands, the small muscles that are needed for crochet, my hands aren't used to them, and so they're really quickly. So I'll probably have to switch back to just have tired hands at the end. And then one last little thing, I actually swatched. What?
Are you feeling okay, Amy?
I don't know. It's one, I'm really excited to get started, but it has to be in the third or the second quarter. So it has to be an April 1st cast on. But then I read the pattern and she wanted you to knit the swatch and wash it twice to determine your real gauge.
Wow.
So, and put it in the dryer because it's linen.
Yep.
And so this is a linen silk and I wasn't sure how it was going to behave. So I really needed to figure that out. So my swatch was out of fabric necessity, like quality. I knit with merino superwash all day long and I can kind of guess that to be the right gauge, but this one I was a little concerned with having the right gauge. But that's for a Donner. Is the name, and it's Blue Bee Studios. So
yep,
can't wait to get that started. And then another top that I've been lusting after is called Summer. There's a million of them out there, so I might have to help you find the link. It's in my queue because a lot of people, I think this is Summer-11.
Oh, got it. Yep.
Summer. But that's all I had.
Okay. Yeah, mine should be really quick. I have been working on a pair of design socks for, I don't know, the last 2 weeks. And I think it might just be some of the anxiety and stress that's going on in my daily life. So again, I just had a very stressful time at work, which was then followed up by this, very stressful COVID-19 as part of a medical organization time. And so I just think that I look at it and it's not like what I had in my mind's eye. And so I just keep ripping it out. And so I decided I was going to cast something on that was just complete joy, mindless, not something that I was going to be stressed out about. So Tracy Miller has a sale. I believe it's still going on. She put out a pair of socks called the Sweet and Tartan socks, which is really fun, like slip stitch motif that looks like a plaid / tartan. And the name was fun and punny. And if you bought it, you got a free other pattern. So I was like, oh, I think there was something in that I had favorited of hers. And so I could get that for free, and I could get the sock pattern. And so I got Beach Days, which is a wrap that she has. It's 3 colors. I am thinking, I don't know, it might be a little too crazy. But I'm thinking I am going to kind of literally over the top this and knit to a point and then do a neckline and then turn it into actual kind of like wavy, lacy top. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, and I really like wraps, but I don't wear them as much as I wear my tops. And so this seems like the right yardage. It seems like the right width. Like I can get it wrapped around me. It's a really easy, fun, repeatable wave stitch. And then there is some larger like eyelet section. I chose some Lola Bean yarn in the mean green, which I'm going to mark on my label. If you add a little G, it's Megan Green, not mean green. Purple is Suburban Stitcher in the Blurple from the Color Wars year of ZK. And then this is Harborland in the Space Babes from Outer Space colorway, which is very speckly and has both the purple and the yellow are the green in it. So it is super fun. This is a day's worth of progress because it's just so fun and addictive and kind of mindless. You know, I'm able to sit here and do it. But these are the colors that make my heart sing, and we'll see whether or not I end up turning it into a top. I think you were holding up your, it was the Hohi one where you felt starting point at one point, and you're like, I think this could be a top. And I've always kind of thought about that when knitting wraps now, where I was like, you know what, this could be a top. It would be like a nice, like cover up a tank top. So that is my one whip that is fit to be shown. So you made it this far into the podcast, and we are now talking about ZK. Amy and I still remain hopeful that by June, the end of June, 87 days from now, so almost 3 whole months, that we will be able to get back together. Maybe that hope is poorly placed, but we are, currently monitoring everything, making sure that, our spirits remain high, that things are going to go as planned. But we know that travel and your health are a deeply personal decision. So if you aren't planning to make, travel plans to Minnesota in June now, we understand. Again, that is your personal decision. Our current cancellation policy remains the same. And we are working with, the local ordinances and decisions that are being made, as well as with the hotel, to make sure that the event can go on if it's safe. And we will be alerting folks once a decision is made, possibly closer to May. So April kind of seems off of the books at this point. But as we near May, I think we'll have a better idea of whether or not this is a virus that enjoys the cooler temperatures and maybe some sun and summer. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not the World Health Organization, and I don't even think they really know what's going to happen that far out in the future either. So all that to say, we're playing it by ear, and we appreciate that people want to continue to get together, but we want to make sure that it's safe. So we're doing our best. That said, a few things are kind of on hold as far as t-shirt signups we normally do at this time of year, as well as classes signups. It seems a little presumptuous to have those currently, kind of knowing that things may need to be changed and fluid. So look for those closer to May. But the KAL goes on.
Right. And so April, we're going to be twinning. So we're bringing back the very popular, very fun twinning. You choose a pattern or a yarn that you and your twin would knit the same pattern or the same. And if it is the same yarn, I encourage you for it to be the exact same, matchy-matchy, not fraternal twins. We're going to do identical twins on the yarn. But that could be easily enough if you have the same kit or you bought the same yarn, or maybe you've been to the previous retreats and you have the same yarn in your stash. That's another way to twin. But I plan on knitting a Donner, and Rianda has agreed to be my twin. So So I've already got a project, but I do want to do a Shayna Lines has a cowl, very simple. I bought it during her birthday sale, or I think I got it free, so I must have been early on. But it's a cowl, but she also has a few people wearing it on their head as more of a bandeau or whatever. You can wear it that way. And that's fingering weight yarn, and I think that would be another fun twinning project, maybe a little quicker off the needles. And I have a couple things of hat yarn in some ZK vendor yarn that I'm wanting to do. So twinning.
Hopefully people will be able to twin along and double dip with the swap too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Were you gonna do a pattern for that swap?
Yep.
Okay. I think we forgot to mention that during the swap info, but we'll have a pattern available for the swap. So.
Yep. So
well, and hopefully the quality was good enough that you made it this far. And
it's hard. I mean, even if the video is really bad, sometimes the audio quality gets a little weird with these as well. But we're doing the best that we can in the time of COVID. So.
Yeah, and maybe we'll find better solutions, but the whole world is trying to do this type of conferencing as well. So, in standard times, maybe this would be a better quality, but right now it's hit or miss. But yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye, Ufta.